What's up, everybody? This is ReviewBox. I am your host, Nick, and today we have a special guest.
Mike. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Big Squishy Marimba, you know?
Big Mike, no last name.
Yeah.
So this is Big Mike. That's what I was going to go by.
I wanted to change it up there, you know?
Yeah. If you don't know who this guy is, he is the director for The Night In, the director for the movie that we're talking about today called Wolfie, and he is also the director for the upcoming movie Losers that will come out, I promise. Anyways.
It's coming.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man.
How are you? You chilling?
I'm chilling, dude. It's been a week. I'm on the last week of school, too, so kind of like at that point where I'm like, is it over yet? You know, but, you know.
Yeah, you're just like pushing. You're just pushing through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to just talk about Wolfie, but before we even get to Wolfie, I kind of want to do the same thing and just kind of get to know you more, even though we kick it a lot. But for those who don't know, just, what are a couple of your favorite movies? Like, it doesn't have to be in any certain order. If you got that order, you're all good. Just
man.
What movies are Mike? What movies equal Big Mike?
You know, definitely like something that growing up that really I was watching all the time. Definitely like Batman 89 for sure was my big one. Batman 89 and like Batman Returns because I'm like a huge Batman fan. Yeah. So those are like always on like rotation. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. I fucking love that movie. I think like to me, Back to the Future one is almost like kind of my idea of like a perfect script, you know, from like top to bottom.
And you grew up right next to where it was filmed.
Yeah, and I'm like right there, and it was crazy because like until recently, like. Unless you were kind of like lived around here, you would have. They like never talked about it.
Yeah, you would have never known.
Yeah,
So
it was kind of like a local legend type of thing. But yeah, that was always like a big one. And and I would like obviously my like big forte is like horror films. But like I'm kind of like I love all types of films. So like another film that would always really be in my circulation, is one of the Kevin Smith films, Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy. What's crazy about that is I haven't seen that one.
There you go.
I know.
There's another one.
Go ahead. I will put that on my list of movies to watch.
It's a fucking crazy movie because it's kind of like I'm trying to do. It's almost kind of like a different kind of genre jump for him because he does a lot of the like stoner comedy and like View Askew universe type of stuff. But they have a lot of the same characters in the movie. But it's basically like his version of like a hopeless romantic type of story where like the main guy he's in love with his best friend. Kind of like a rundown. His best friend Amy, who he's in love with her and he wants to be with her, but she's like a lesbian. So he's trying to like change her mind, but he's like it's that kind of crazy thing, yeah.
Oh damn, that's a trip. Yeah. I gotta throw that in my list of movies to watch.
So that's definitely one that I've always kind of like circulated around because I'm yeah.
So wait, so then who's your Batman?
Shit.
We might have beef.
I know.
It's okay. Say it with your chest. Who's your Batman?
I mean, honestly, growing up, like it probably have to be Keaton for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got some problems, but it's okay. No, you're still my friend. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's dope, man. Yeah. And that kind of brings me to my next question. I've told you this before, but I just want to share it on the pod. If you can have the power, the budget, everything to direct any movie, or remake any movie, what movie would it be?
Oh, man.
Because I remember your answer from last time. It could be the same answer.
Yeah.
It's just totally up to you.
I don't know if I like remake it, but I've always wanted to do like another chapter of like going back to the Future. Like I've always like felt that there was a kind of a
there was more room.
Yeah, there was more room to like tell more of a story, because I was always like interested in like what happened because they kind of like allude to it, but I'm like, okay, well, what happened to Doc and like Clara, and their kids, even though they're like traveling on the train, maybe there's a little story there, or even like Marty and and his family and like what happens there, or even kind of going into like even maybe like prequel territory. Like I know that like there's a whole back history on like Doc and like they kind of allude to it in the first movie, but like how was Doc when he was like younger and like what really got him into science and like how to like what was like the true story of like Doc and like Marty meeting for the first time, kind of stuff like that.
Oh, okay. What's funny about that is no matter what, like say if you made Back to the Future Part 4 or if you made a prequel or if you made the remake, no matter what version you make of that movie, you're gonna get hate for it.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I would be fucking torn apart.
And I totally like commend you for doing it. Like,
so like
I'm on your side.
But in that way, yeah, like I would want to do it, but then at the same time, like, I'm like, you know what, that would be kind of career suicide right there, because they would just, and yeah, no matter what you did, even if it was like,
yeah,
somehow a good movie, they'd be like, nah, it's fuck you, you know?
Yeah, and people get like that with certain like beloved franchises.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're on my side here for this. I want to stand up for Halloween 2007 because what it literally gave us was an origin story of Michael Myers, and then it gave us almost like a shot by shot of the original film, just shortened. And it's like, how do people hate that? They just find a way to hate it, and I love that movie.
No, and you know what? This is probably an unpopular opinion too, but I actually really like that first film too a lot. Like I remember, because I'm a huge Halloween fan. Like I'm a huge Halloween 78 fan, John Carpenter. But I remember, but I love Rob Zombie.
Yeah, same here.
And so I was like, okay, cool, Rob Zombie and Halloween. And I remember that first movie really, like, that was fucking good.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny because the Halloween 2007. It's so I feel like he stayed so true to the material.
Yeah.
People are haters. I feel like he stayed so true to it. He did that origin story, and then he kind of just, did a reinterpretation of the 1978 one going forward. But it was funny because then Halloween 2, the 2009 version, is just absolutely batshit crazy.
Oh, it's off the fucking rails.
Yeah, it's off the chains compared to the first one. Like, real quick, Chance, have you seen those two Halloween movies? Halloween 2007 and Halloween 2009? Okay. It's absolutely bananas compared to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like a shack field or whatever.
Yeah, it is in a field. I don't think there's fire, but the house, they basically snipe him, I think, from a helicopter. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because I feel like he even got some inspiration from Hitchcock and Psycho, because the way that movie ends, if we can kind of maybe do this on like spoiler thing, there is
no, it's fine. It's from 2007.
Yeah. It kind of ends with like Laurie, where she goes crazy and she kind of has this like inner monologue in like the insane asylum, and it's kind of like the ending of Psycho, where Norman Bates, he's kind of like fully transformed into Mother.
Oh yeah, where he's all creeped out.
Yeah.
So real quick, just to kind of like. I feel like, I don't know if you've heard this news either, though. The rights for Texas Chainsaw are up for grabs. Have you guys heard about that?
I have heard that, yeah.
So it's between 4 companies. It's between, I believe it's Monkey Paw, which is Jordan Peele, A24, Neon, and Netflix.
Oh.
Now,
see, but like Netflix had their chance, yeah.
By God, Netflix just walk away.
Yeah.
So I saw, I honestly, I forgot who this TikToker was because I really would shout him out, but this guy brought up a good point. He talked about all these studios, and they're like, the thing about these movies and about the original movie is it makes you feel gross, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one. It makes you feel gross. The movie from documentaries that I've watched and articles I read, the movie's really about meat. It's about the meat industry. I know that sounds weird, and it also has some tie-ins with Vietnam. And but it's so gritty and it makes you feel gross. It makes you feel like dirty in a sense. And so the guy was going on and he's like, why doesn't Rob Zombie direct it? And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that is perfect. And I know people will complain and this, and that, but it's like, if Rob Zombie directs a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that movie's going to be A1. It's going to be
I feel like that's fucking true, because I feel like The Devil's Rejects was kind of his like tribute to that anyway. That was very much that style, right?
No, The House of a Thousand Corpses.
I mean, House of Corpses.
That one, no, that's okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, you're right. But like The House of a Thousand Corpses is literally you can feel the inspiration from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Like you feel that inspiration. So like, this is what I was saying. I was like, let's get crazy. I want Monkey Paw to get it, which is Jordan Peele. And then I want Jordan Peele to be an executive producer, and then I want him to have Rob Zombie direct it. I think that would be fire.
That'd be pretty fire.
I don't want A24 because from what I've heard is I love A24, don't get me wrong, but what I heard is that A24 wants to make it a show.
No.
And I'm like, no, let's not do that. Neon, I'm kind of up for it with Neon. As long as it's a theatrical release, that's what I want. But Neon or Jordan Peele, that's where I'm kind of like. Obviously, I have no say in it, but as a fan, that's where I would want it to go.
I'd probably go with Monkey Paw because, like, generally A24 and Neon, they're more of like a distributor type of studio. They don't have a lot of involvement in like the actual like development and productions of their movies. That they just kind of pick them up and they put them out. So yeah, I feel like Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw, they're very much more hands on, and they would develop it and then go through all that. But if all else fails, who should really pick it up? These guys right here.
Yeah, right. It's funny because I said that's a movie that I want to remake in my life, and I'm like, when I seen that the rights were up for grabs, I was like, I need to see how much this is, see if I could buy it.
What to start borrowing from the homies? Be like, hey, come on,
please. But no, I would love for Rob Zombie to direct Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'd be down for that.
He would nail the grittiness and dirtiness of it. It would be great, but people are ugly. But anyways, speaking of production, just kind of want to get into like some of the Wolfie stuff. Mm-hmm. For those who are watching, if you haven't already, please go check out Wolfie. The link will be in the bio. It is a short film written and directed by you, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes. Kind of give us a little of like, because you kind of told me, but give us a little of like what made you be like, I'm going to make this short film and it's going to be about this.
So, I was kind of in like that, like kind of that middle ground because we had just put an idea out there. It was a couple months passing between that. And then I was kind of like going in between projects of what I was going to be doing next. And then I helped, like I said, I went and I helped out Chance with Vale. So that was really great to do. And then we had done, we were getting ready to do Losers as well, and I was going to go and direct that. And then me and Eileen, we had a bunch of stuff that we're working on right now, a couple other films that we want to do, but nothing really like ready to go. So I was kind of like in the middle of like, okay, what am I gonna like kind of like make next? And I hadn't really had anything planned out per se, except for our film that we're doing. And so one crazy night, I just got up and I had this like really like crazy nightmare. And I had this little like it's technically like a Build-A-Bear type doll that I had gotten. I had gotten it from an ex-girlfriend. So, but it's a really cool. It's kind of like a custom-made like werewolf type of doll. So I liked it. So I kept it. And just one night I had this kind of nightmare where like kind of like in the film where it's kind of like chasing me around and kind of like stalking me and like haunted. And I'm like, that was fucking running because I don't really have nightmares. I don't do any of that.
You're like, I'm a man.
Yeah, God damn it. So I'm like, but it was kind of sticking with me throughout the day, and I kind of don't think about it. I'm like, that'd be kind of a cool like play on like my love for like the 80s cheesy horror film like Child's Play and like that kind of like type of filmmaking, So I'm like, that'd be something I can kind of do kind of fast, film it in my house because it's in the dream, it's all in my house or whatever, kind of like how it is there. And I could just take, like I have my phone, I have the Black Magic app, I have my new rig that I had bought for it, and I'm like, and I know how to kind of like film that way, so and initially I was just gonna kind of do it maybe like in one day, try and do it myself and see what happens. But I hit up Eileen and I was like, hey, I had this idea. What do you think about it? And she's like, I was expecting to be like, it's all right,
Yeah.
But she's like, that's actually pretty cool. She's like, I like that a lot. She's like, what do you have on it? So I'm like, I'm not going to write a script for it. I don't have a script per se, but I have this like basic treatment outline that I have, so I'm going to send it to you. So I sent it to her, and she loved it, and then she kind of sent me some notes back and forth, and so we kind of like built the story on it that way. And then so I'm like, well, do you want to come help me down and film it? One day I'm like, I'll put you on camera because I'm like, I'm going to wild hair on my ass. I'll be in the movie,
Yeah.
Since it's pretty much about me anyway. I'm playing an exaggerated version of myself. So she's like, okay, yeah, okay. I kind of we kind of planned it out. We fleshed it out a little bit more. I put together a shot list of what I wanted to do. Kind of super fast that way, and then I got a gimbal rig, and then I showed her how to use it, and then I kind of did some like test shots that are in the movie, like that whole like beginning shot of the whole like gimbal shot where it's kind of like flipping upside down. That was a test shot that I did, but I really loved it.
So you just went for it.
Yeah.
So the movie was really just in house.
super in-house.
100% in-house.
Yeah.
Exclusive crew of 2 people.
Yeah, I'm like,
including you.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? We can just let's do this real fast and just shoot it real fast and see what we can do. So we basically, I had initially planned to shoot it on like one day, but we got kind of behind because it is a lot to do. So I'm like, okay, well, we can finish it on another day. So we pretty much shot all of the interior things one day, and then all the exterior stuff one other day. Luckily, we got lucky on both days that it was kind of cloudy, so it was kind of a similar day.
Oh, okay.
So we got really like lucky that way. But even if it wasn't like all of the interiors, you couldn't really tell anyway. So, but it was a lot of like Chance had said before. It's a lot of problem solving. Filmmaking is problem solving 101. So I had to get real creative because literally me and Eileen. So we had to like kind of do things very inventive way, especially when it came to puppeteering. Wolfie, I don't have any puppeteers, so we literally came up with
the budget didn't couldn't afford that part. Yeah.
So we really came up with this creative way. I'm like, okay, well, I have the gimbal. So the way the gimbal works is it's you're able to get the phone on these like rig to where you can do these like low bearing shots without like straining yourself.
Yeah.
So you can kind of be. So I was able to get these really like low angles for all the POV shots, and then even when I have Wolfie walking, I could have it to where like I can be off camera, kind of puppeteering, but from a certain angle, and then making it look that way. So and then yeah, there was a couple of shots on there that were pretty challenging though, like no spoiler, but like there's a shot where he's in a trash can, and him even doing that was a big challenge, but we got it done.
Yeah, you got it done.
Yeah.
Not to like, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but could I talk about? I want to talk about my favorite scene.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite scene because how you told me how to shoot it. There is a scene where you wake up from a nightmare and you're on a bus.
Oh yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit how you filmed that scene? Because you told me he actually filmed this on a bus, which is awesome.
There's a couple of bus stops like by my house, so I used to ride the bus all the time, so I know kind of like where they're at. So I'm like, you know what, let me just go to Target one day or whatever. So so I'm like, let me just take a bus to Target, right? So I went and I had all my gear. I had the gimbal rig, and it's about a 10-minute ride from there, whatever, right? So, but I just kind of rode it a couple times.
They're probably like, dude, this guy's been on the bus for 2 hours. Like, he just keeps going around in circles.
I went all the way to the back, right? So, like, it would be away from kind of like everybody. It wasn't too crowded on there, but yeah, I would go on there and I have to be like, you know, that kind of thing. And but then I had the gimbal rig over here, kind of like holding right here, and then I had to like kind of like look at it and then action and then do it that way, because it was a day where it would just be by myself. So then I did that about 3 or 4 times. I was like, and then I had to do that, and then I had a couple other angles that I didn't use, but I had one from over here, and then I had one from over here just to get some coverage, but it was pretty wild. Then I did have a couple of people like,
yeah, they're like, yeah, this guy's crazy.
I was like, okay, I'm like, but they're like, it's public transportation, so I'm not too surprised, right?
Yeah, you're not the craziest guy on that bus.
Yeah.
No, you know, what surprised me about Wolfie is one. So it took you about what, 2 or 3 production days?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So I remember when you first brought it up to me, and I was like, dude, hell yeah, like do it. And I honestly thought it was gonna be like a 1:30 to a 2-minute, like 1:30 to a 2-minute, like a short, like, you know, made in one day and everything. And then you told me the runtime, and I was like, wait, what? And the runtime's what, 8 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it turned out to be 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And just like when we were talking with Chance, like, yeah, Vel was what, 9 minutes? Absolutely blew my mind because I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. I was like, right now, Losers is at 7.5 minutes, like from the cut that I have.
Yeah.
So I was just tripping on the runtime, but I love how it ended up being that long because it was like there was so much more story to tell in it, and that's what I enjoyed about it.
And that's the cool thing about like even being on set. Like you can plan something out, but then you get kind of like creative as you go. Because I had my outline right that I had written, and then so I would kind of like add things as we went, or I would add a line here, or I would add a scene here, and then Eileen had some really cool ideas as we went through too. And she was like, "Well, why don't you try this?" So and we're really good at bouncing off each other that way. So it just kind of became this whole thing, and like I added and like I had these like really like cool shots that I wanted to do that I wanted to try out. So and then there was one shot that we can't spoil on there, but there's a shot that's filmed on my front lawn where
Don't even
But then again, like people are probably like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, and if you want to know what we're talking about, again, go into the link in the bio, watch Wolfie, come back, and then you could talk about it, or you know what we're talking about, because we won't talk about it either way. So my and you know what was so cool? It was so cool because you showed this at the film festival at our college, and you brought Wolfie.
Yeah.
And I walked in and like he was like the first person I saw there, and I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, you brought Wolfie? And he's like, yeah, man, like the star. And I loved it because after they showed everybody's film, they gave everybody time to go up there just to like kind of give like a little speech. And you brought Wolfie, and the crowd went nuts.
Yeah, they were fucking wild, dude. It was crazy.
You showed Wolfie.
I'm like, he was a big hit.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I love that reception. I love that kind of support that we got right there, like that you got right there with the Wolfie. I think it made me so, oh my gosh, made me so happy.
I remember like after we were doing the whole meet and greet after, and there was some people who wanted to go and take photos with him too. They're like, can we take a picture with Wolfie? I'm like, yeah, sure, okay.
Hell yeah, he's there. He's there. He's a star. So then I got two more questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Wolfie 2 question mark.
You know, it's crazy because kind of building off what Chance was saying.
Everything's about sequels these days.
Yeah, the guy interviewing me was asking. He's like, hey, I really like this film. He's like, there's some things that left kind of open ended. Is there going to be a chapter 2? And I'm like, well, I haven't really thought about it, but honestly, I've actually gotten hit up online the last couple of days about people asking the same question. They're like, I need a chapter 2. Like,
damn.
what happens to the girl, or what happens to your character, or they're like, I need more. They're like, what happened? So they're like, is there gonna be another Wolfie 2? So I don't have anything written yet, but I will say that is definitely a possibility.
So there's this quote from this other podcast that I absolutely love, and it's the most funniest quote ever. And I always tell Randy about it. It's leave them wanting less.
Yeah, right. I know. And I feel like that's something that I'm not doing very well, because people want a sequel to this, and they want a sequel to the Night In, and they want a prequel, whatever,
No, so I get exactly what you're saying. Is like, okay, yeah, so maybe not give them a sequel.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's like
I know.
the way that quote is interpreted of leave them wanting less.
Yeah.
And obviously it's leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
Leave them wanting less is that you just keep giving them sequels until they just fucking hate it. And they're like, dude, I don't want any more.
Please, no more.
Like, why? Like, Wolfie 6, The Return of Vel? What is this? Like, where are we going?
We're going to
here?
make it like the 80s, and we're just going to, like I said, we're just going to start pumping them out.
Yeah, we got to get the Wolfie versus Vel. Do you want?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do that? Yeah, we're going to do that.
Gabriel's next object of craziness is gonna be that damn doll, bro.
Yeah. He's gonna wake up. Whew, that was a crazy night. Oh, what's this? And then bam. Anyways. So bring it all back in. Please go see Wolfie. Is there any future projects you got going on for you?
Yeah.
What's going on for Big Mike?
Right. So I think probably in another month, hopefully or so, we're gonna have our film coming out.
Yes. I was like,
Losers.
what film? Yeah, hopefully.
Losers. Yeah.
Hopefully next month.
Yeah, so that's something that I'm actually really proud of, and then I'm really happy and really honored that you brought me on to work with you on.
Oh, of course.
I had a great fucking time making that movie.
Yeah.
So that's one that I'm excited about, and then hopefully in October we start shooting our bigger film. Me and Eileen, we have this script that we're working on called In a Single Moment. It's it's a love story, but kind of wrapped around my tribute to the whole goth club scene of like LA that I was kind of a part of from like 2019 until now, I guess I could probably say.
You're like, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, so it's kind of my like love letter to like the club scene and doing all that kind of stuff, but like wrapped in like a love story that we that we're gonna be telling. So yeah, we're pretty much almost done with that script, kind of like polishing it over, and then we're gonna have that out. We're gonna do like a Kickstarter or like a GoFundMe.
Oh, fuck yeah.
To kind of raise it, because we're gonna shoot a couple of locations for clubs and then a couple of houses and whatever. So it's gonna probably be our biggest film that we've done to date. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, I'll be excited to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, brother. Like always. And we did this last episode, so we want to do it again. Is there anything you want to leave the audience? It could be a sentence, a word, anything. It could be nothing. Leave them wanting less. I don't know.
Nothing, bro.
Nothing.
No, go and support local film. Go and support all of our short films, and go and support all of these great filmmakers, Chance, all those great guys out there, you know, and then all of the film festivals, and just, you know, because now's a great time to be, you know, like a filmmaker. So, you know, support, and support this podcast. Fucking great podcast.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Hell yeah. All right. And like always, we will see you later.